So we had to go through the whole.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
was that your first meeting?
that was my first meeting.
All right, I just wanted to make sure you had a meeting.
That was 4 years, sir. Yeah, I can't remember which one.
No, that's-
That's fine. I'm not right now. Is that 4 years, sir?
Yeah, it should both be.
Yeah, it'll be.
And I'd love to see it. I think the capital, I think that.
There's a good perspective, and I really feel that most of the people that are on the school board are there because kids, the curriculum, growing that whole education process that's out at the meetings. And they really believe this, the better that can be, the better the community.
So you're gonna point that out.
Good.
Hey, Don.
Greetings. Hi, Don.
Good day, good day.
Where do you want to be?
That's perfect.
Just in the nick of time, by the way.
That's right.
Right here, he could come back.
Oh, yeah, we have.
I think the battery
Bill.
watches.
Yeah, Bill. Yeah.
It's obvious. The numbers aren't there.
Okay, I have 7 P.M. Gonna call to order the planning commission meeting for February 7th, 2023. Bring up the agenda. And we have introductions and roll call. Can I start with Jim?
Sure, Jim Hoggle, 154 West Clear Lake Drive.
Burton James McLean, Jim, 26 Quiet Harbor Drive.
Don Lucky, 1057 South Clear Lake Drive.
Dan Rippey, 126 Lakeside Porch.
George Henkel, 144 West Clear Lake Drive. Mike Hawk, attorney to the Planning Commission.
Jennifer Saturday, building clerk.
Robert Hawley, zoning administrator. And Bill's online. Bill's.
Yep, Bill Hanna, 208 West Clear Lake.
Great. And I did check with Bill online. He is able to vote tonight for the our resolution for electronic participation, given the business that we have. So,
Good, thanks.
you're welcome. Next item is, and we do have a quorum, even though I'll note that we are 1 person short. That is the one appointment from council who had, whose term ended the end of the year. So, or we do have a quorum. As far as, just so all the members are aware, for voting, we are still required to have at least 4 votes of the 6 members that are present to for our rules of procedure. Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of the meeting agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? Are there any comments?
No comments. I so move that we approve the agenda.
I have a motion to approve the agenda as written. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. to approve the meetings as written, meeting minutes as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
aye,
Any opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Very good. Motion passes, agenda remains as written. Next item is the approval of the minutes for the November 1st, 2022. Well, it's almost like an archival. It's got to go back. But anyway, are there any comments to the November 1st minute?
No comment for me.
So I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a motion to approve the minutes as written and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
aye,
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes, minutes are approved as written. Next item it calls for budgeted items, which we have none, so we'll move on to the next item, which is applications, petitions, and hearings, of which we have none tonight, which brings us to item G, full business, which is to hear the UDO change 2022-02. I'll ask member George Schenkel to introduce the updates.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Tonight, I'm presenting UDO change law number 2022-02. But before I begin, would any plan commission member like Robert to review the process that got us to this point? Are you okay? Okay.
So as far as I know, at the last meeting, I didn't bring all the other stuff. It was tabled to review the change to Lake Accessory and accessory structure standards, which is part of 5.09-A. Was the article. So up on the screen, you guys can see that we have our UDO change process. 1 and 2 were done prior to my arrival with Larry. And 3 and 4 are what we're continuing on to tonight as sponsor presents change to request at PC, and PC determines if the request moves forward. I don't know if you want me to say more. I wasn't prepared for that, I guess.
I think the outline there, just the flow chart of how we got to where we are tonight, basically. I think the flow chart, unless Dan, if there's anything else you want to ask.
Yeah, and thanks for the reminder that tonight's vote by the planning commission is to move it on to the next step of the change process, which moves into the public.
I will say, in the meantime, there's been a lot of discussion between George, myself, Dan, and Mike to kind of get to where we're at tonight. So that be it, I'll let you take the rest.
All righty, well, thanks. The basis of this proposed change was input from the community that I've gathered, folks to talk to me about cleaning up some of the language in the current UDO. And so I'm sponsoring a change to paragraph 5.09A2 in UDO. And in it, I'm proposing to delete 2 words in the first sentence of that paragraph and delete the entire last sentence of the paragraph. And I'll read the sentence the total sentence that's going to be that we're asking to delete. It begins, occupiable accessory structures may have a full bathroom and or utility sink if the owner is granted a variance following an on-site, allowing an on-site sewer and interior water, but under no circumstances shall a kitchen be permitted. And that we're asking to delete it along with the in the earlier sentence, the 2 words gets orders. The basis of this change is number 1, to remove contradiction, 2, to add clarity, 3, to attain uniformity of language, and 4, to support the comprehensive plan. And I'll just step through each of those individually with some highlights as to why those are the basis for the change. A contradiction, the 2 words guest quarters implies residential, when the sentence that follows that in that paragraph specifically states that residential units, studio apartments, businesses, and the like shall not be permitted. So in one sentence, we say guest quarters, and then we come right back and say no. So that's the contradiction of terms. Second, clarity, the UDO zoning district 2, paragraph 2.16 and development standard 5.04H all state no sewer or water in lake accessories. And third, uniformity. This is the only place that a variance is added in a UDO outside of Article 09, which is processes, specifically variances that address variances in their entirety. And for this particular one, I think we need to get the word variance out of it because it's really misleading. And the reason I say that is that this indicates a variance, we go to the BZA. Well, with sewer, you can't go to the BZA until you first go to the town council and get approval for the sewer, then the BZA. So just to say you can get a variance is not being truthful to anybody. You need to drive them to section 9.19C3, which totally outlines in several pages this what you step through to get a variance. Very, very important. So that brings us uniform. And then lastly, the comprehensive plan. And we talked about this at the, I believe it was the November 1st meeting. Housing and the comprehensive plan policy 2.2 discourages new residential development. Objective 2.2.1 eliminates second and third tier access to Clear Lake. Objective 2.2.2 enforces and strengthens the existing anti-funneling ordinance. Then when we go to the land use part of the comprehensive plan, policy 7.4 prohibits the development that may endanger, obstruct, harm, or otherwise negatively impact the residential quality of the town. Objective 7.4.1 preserve, enhance the residential quality of the town. And then lastly, land use classification. If you look at the comprehensive plan and go to the definition of lake accessory, it's very clear in the comprehensive plan. The area classified as lake accessory includes lots used in conjunction with adjacent lake residential uses, primarily for parking and storage. So that pretty much summarizes the reasons why we need the change. So at that, I'll take a breath and see if there's any questions.
Yeah, no questions here.
None here.
Yeah. Anything?
Oh, no question. I'm just impressed with the thoroughness of Georgia's crusade against having a backlot development.
I agree, it was very thorough and I appreciate the work.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it quite frankly, it was a learning experience. With Robert's help, discovered one UDO that really solidifies the no water, and it covers more than just lake accessories. And that was really a key element. Otherwise, redundant, you'd have to have redundant in every possible UDO that no water, no water, no water. So we do have a chapter and a verse that states that very clearly.
As one of the authors of the UDO, I'd like to ask a question though. Back in the day, when the UDO was adopted, they clearly said, I've got mine, you won't be able to have yours. What was the justification?
Well, I don't understand that. I got mine and you won't get yours.
There's all kinds of front UDO backlot residences. Now, they weren't made non-conforming.
Mhm.
They were given a special zoning category. So in effect, you were saying, if you've already got it, you're set.
Mhm,
A $2.4 million home was just sold, South Shore,
mhm,
and it has a beautiful garage with a complete apartment above.
mhm,
You can't do that today.
mhm, that's correct.
So doesn't that kind of fit into the I've got mine, you can't have yours mentality?
Well, I don't believe there's any conflict of interest of any of those individuals that have those, and there were 3 of them that come to mind that knew the UDO was coming, and this is a typical tactic of any astute person. If you see a change coming that you don't want, if you can get ahead of it, more power to you. But what it did, Jim, is it stopped the further development. And
So the stopping further
what's-
development.
What's the relevancy relative to this change?
Well, I'm asking George questions about
About
the
this
motive
change.
for the change. Well, why would you eliminate even the remote possibility of
It's-
kitchen sewer?
But this change is not eliminating the remote possibility. That has always been in place. He's just being consistent with the restrictions that are already in place relative to the UDO and the requirement to have a new connection approved by council. This was redundant. This language was redundant.
It's part of the UDO.
It's redundant, and by virtue of redundancy, we believe that adds confusion for people who are trying to not only administer the document, which is Robert, but also to the people who are trying to use it as a reference. So I'm not sure what your questioning is doing to inform.
I'm trying to find out why we're removing this other than consistency.
He articulated the 4 areas
Okay,
and the rationale for
I'll stand down.
it. Do you have anything?
The one thing I was gonna point out is I don't know, maybe the planning commission got a different version than I did, but the version I have on the From to the guest quarters is still included. in that.
Yeah, I may have forgot that, because I'm not that you, but that was a part of George's original, and I didn't realize it was taken out
Okay.
because of the highlighting. It missed over it when I was reading. So I updated it all, they got all the updates from Greg, sorry about that.
The only thing that I would ask, George, is if Robert could have a copy of your well-written notes
sure,
that provide the basis. Just for his file.
okay. I'll get those to you in the morning. I'll email them to you.
But we can take a copy, please.
I have handwritten notes with these.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions or dialogue on the change itself? Or
No, other than, when we had that meeting back in November, I tabled it, and we asked for, some clarification and working on it, and I think you did a good job of that, eliminating of the yes, quarters
Yeah.
thing I think is important.
Well, I think the piece that helped the most is what Robert identified in its section
504.
yes, 504H, which significantly says no water and sewer in all these zoning districts. So that just really blanketed this and others. So we don't need to come back and say it a 3rd time. It says it in the districts and then in the development standards, and that's adequate. At least I.
Specific to assessors.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say, and in all my experience, you never want a ordinance to kind of show, I'm not gonna talk about guest quarters specifically, because that's more of opinion. You know, you guys live around here, I don't,
Mhm.
it don't matter either way to me. But it matters to, the residents, so. But as far as the variance statement, it's good to have that out of there because, variance is always on the table. You just don't want to make it seem like it's a done deal if they apply for a variance.
Mhm.
Because they still have to meet the standards to get a variance approved.
And quite frankly, if you read the 19.19C3, it specifically states that it's a prerequisite to get the town council to sign off before it comes to the BZA. And when you just talk variance, you don't think about another step, just BZA variance, and no, you have the prerequisite with the town council sign off first, and then come to the BZA. So by getting that out of there, it drives you to section 19.19 to see what really is totally needed.
A question on that point, George, I wasn't aware, and I've attended a handful of BZA meetings. I don't recall that coming up as maybe that the applicant had obtained the town council approval prior to coming to BZA. So is that something that's been in play and it's been administered religiously in the past, or is it just something that's sort of obscure? We haven't really applied it. I don't know.
Possibly I wasn't clear on this, Bill. The town council requirement only applies to sanitary sewers, new sanitary sewer connections, which would be if you wanted to put sewer in a lake accessory. So it's only if you have a sanitary sewer, you have to go to the town council first.
Okay.
Before you come to the BZA. So those in the past, I don't believe we had any sanitary sewers that got to the town, to the BZA recently that I'm aware of. So that wasn't an issue.
Okay, so again, not all BZA applications require that town council, only if it's related to a unique sewer hookup.
That's correct.
Okay, good, thank you.
And if you go to the variance section, there are some other prerequisites. I don't want to go through them, but that you need to, if you're asking for a variance, you need to go to that variance page and read in its entirety what's all required, just so that you're making sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Anything else?
Okay, hearing no additional comments, again, this, I would ask for a motion and just remind that the members, that this vote is to move it in the process to the next step, which is in front of the public.
Okay, well, as sponsor, I move the UDO change 2022-02 be scheduled for a public hearing at the May 2nd, 2023 Plan Commission meeting.
Okay,
I will second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the UDO change and advance it to public hearing on in the May Plan Commission meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Opposed? Okay. Any abstentions? No abstentions. So we had 5 yays, 1 nay, and motion passes. Thank you, George, for the hard work.
Okay, well, thanks for the support, Dan, from you and Robert and others.
You're welcome.
I'd like the point of clarification.
Yes.
The whole point is, it's not saying you can't do this. It's just not sticking out there suggesting that you could do it. Yeah, which I think is kind of misleading. When you have it there, people have a tendency to go, oh, well, I can do this. Well, if you really want to do it, you'll find a way, but you're not nailing that out there. We're not saying you can. It doesn't negate the fact that people can still do this. It just doesn't.
That's correct. And that applies to all of section 5.
To all of it. And I did search the word variance, and within the document, this is the only place variance shows up within all of those parameters outside of the definitions and explanations. So I think it's a good point.
Yeah. Okay, well put. Thanks. Okay, moving then into new business, we have two items. The first is election of officer.
Do we need to open it up to public or?
No.
Or comments?
um,
Make a comment or no?
At the end of the meeting,
Okay.
if that's okay.
That's fine.
So new business, election officers. The officers that we're electing is president, vice president, and then we have one additional person that would be assigned to the
Executive committee.
thank you.
Okay.
It's a commissioner committee.
Yeah, executive committee for the planning commission. Who is, as that committee is in charge of setting the agenda for the year.
Okay.
If there's any special projects for the planning commission. So
So ready for nominations?
I'd like to accept nominations for, let's just start with the president.
I nominate Bill Hannon for president.
Any other nominations?
I'm sorry, who was nominated for president?
Bill
Hanna.
Hanna. Okay. So we have Bill Hanna as nomination. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Bill Hanna is, motion passes. Bill Hanna is president for his following term. Next up is vice president. Taking nominations.
Yeah, I would nominate Dan Rippey for vice president.
Okay, any other nominations? All right. So Dan Rippey up for nomination for vice president. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Dan Rippey is the vice president, and then we have a third officer, which is need nominations for that position.
Well, I nominate Jim Hoggle as executive committee member.
We have Jim Hoggle as the third executive committee member. Any other nominations? Okay. We have Jim Hoggle as the a nominee for the executive committee member. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Very good. Motion passes. Right. So at this point, then I would hand the meeting over to the newly elected president, Bill. Finish out the meeting.
I remember that feeling.
Well, first, gentlemen, thank you for the nomination and the unanimous vote of confidence. So I'll hopefully I can serve the board and the town well. I still consider myself a bit of a student, certainly in the rules of order and procedural, but I know I've got some strong support around the table, so I'll lean on you, I'm sure. But thanks again, appreciate it. Hope I can do well. So I guess that means I have to look, but Robert, can you pull up the agenda to make sure I'm following the plan? Although I think that may have wrapped up. We may be into new business.
We are still in new business. The next thing is PC rules of procedure.
Okay.
There's no better way to do this.
So I saw in the distribution that Robert had includes the Plan Commission Rules of Procedure. There's 6 or 7 pages. I trust the intent is not to read through these, although I may be corrected. There are a handful of changes that maybe Robert could walk through and describe the motivation or genesis for those.
Sure. I believe, George, you kind of started with it, right?
It was one of the objectives for 2022.
Oh, perfect.
And it was my assignment. I've lost track of the months that it started in January and mid-year. I did a presentation with deficiencies that I found as I audited our rules of procedure against the Plan Commission basics that we received from, I'm not sure who the author is here. You know who the author is?
The Indian Assistance Plan.
Yeah, Citizen Planners Guide. So we started, I used that as an audit tool to review. And the first thing that jumped out, we had a lot of statements in our rules of procedure that weren't supported with Indiana code, although there was Indiana code. So that which I could do, I did pull Indiana code and put it adjacent to those statements regarding policy and procedures. And then just went through and identified either changes, deficiencies in our guide and updated it accordingly. And then from that point, I passed it on to Dan, which I think you reviewed it, and then on to Mike for sort of a legal review. And I can't tell you which are my changes. I have a copy that has a variety of color changes, but the end result is what we have here in front of us that I think if we're not prepared to review and discuss it tonight, we probably need to put it on the agenda for our next meeting in May to review and sign off of it. So let me just stop there and see if anybody else has any discussion points.
The summary of it all is to make certain updates, clarifications, point of clarifications. Obviously, you guys kind of saw the agenda change tonight that represents the order of business. So that's the majority. The only thing that I didn't go back and change, George, was the staff point at 7.3 in Article 17. That's the only thing I wanted to kind of clarify with you when we're on here. So the UDO identifies staff responsibilities pretty clearly. And then, okay, that was weird. Sorry, I thought I watched you there, Bill. The UDO outlines my responsibilities because the staff is basically me. And all of my lawful duties are in that document. The PC rules of procedures does not establish my authority or my thing. So basically the best thing to do when we were talking, me and Mike and Dan, is just to reference back to the UDO. Rather than having it on the zoning administrator, but the enforcement officer, it outlines it right in the UDO that I am the enforcement officer.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the only change that you see in this.
That was the only thing, I mean, outside of the other ones, that was the only thing that I think when we were going back and forth, I don't think we directly addressed. And I just wanted to make sure you were good with it.
Okay. Yeah, the only, in addition to your comment, Robert, this is a question for the group here, and it actually came up, Jen, when we were working on the webpage and email addresses for folks. And Mike, I dropped you an email regarding ex parte regarding plan commission members. And your response is it's whatever you want to write. You know, it's not like the BCA where it explicitly states the ex parte rule. The plan commission doesn't have that code in Indiana code. But the issue that we're wrestling with here at Clear Lake is a transparency issue. And when we changed the website and deleted plan commission members' email addresses, everybody said, you know, well, aren't we supposed to, discuss things with the plan commission and how do, why are we now excluded from their emails? I can catch them at the yacht club, I can catch them at the ice cream stand, I can catch them at the grocery store, but I can't catch them on their official town email. So I guess my recommendation would be, and I'm open for discussion, to reinstate plan commission, town of Clear Lake email addresses. So the citizens of the community can email you with concerns that they may have regarding plans and developments, etc. So right now they're excluded, and my proposal is to put them on. And I don't see anywhere in the document where we address the ex parte, so it's really not in here. But just like to open it up to the website and have an avenue to reach our members.
The avenue to reach members is in public session. And that way the benefit of the comments can be shared across all members. So I would be opposed to it.
I think that Mike probably has to chime in on this, but it is my understanding, like yours is, that Plan Commission is an organization where public input direct to members is appropriate. As
Again,
that might become.
when it's one-on-one, then you rely on that plan commission member to then bring it to the other members. And that's my concern. Each member should have access to the public's opinions.
I don't think that there is an obligation of the plan commission member to be a representative of the citizens' opinion. But I think that there is that they are of necessity open to communicating with them. I refer back to some of the handbooks that I've read. And convictions. Board of Appeals in Indiana, and ex parte is very much the case in BZA. Those people are supposed to be blank sheets of paper when they sit down to hear a case. That's not the case with the plan commission. The public input is appropriate. Now, email versus ice cream cone, different.
No.
Yeah.
There are, sure. The plan commission is final word on hearings.
Yeah,
Okay. Much like the BZA.
agreed.
And so it's for that lowest common denominator reason that I recommend not posting emails for one-on-one correspondence such that they can be approached individually about matters of hearing where they have the final word.
Okay, I'll revisit that.
Right, sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's what I was gonna point out, is that it's explicitly prohibited for the BZA, because they're a quasi judicial body and they sit in judgment of some of these things. And so they specifically say by statute that you can't have these ex parte communications, so it was good to remove those from there to prohibit people from, or not encourage people to contact them individually. With respect to the planning commission, it's a little bit different. The idea is that a council member should always be available because that's an elected official. If you don't like the way that they're deciding issues, your recourse is at the ballot box. You can throw them out with a ballot. By voting against the planning commission is a little bit different because some members are appointed, so it's a little bit more difficult for the public to have a direct, impact or feedback on who's sitting on the planning commission. And so a lot of the stuff I've read has said, it again, those ex parte communications, it's a little bit more sort of between BZA and and a council member. And at the time when we took them down, I think that there was a lot of concern about transparency, and that was what was the motivating factor for that to say, address all the planning commission members are available in public meeting, everyone's invited, they can all have notice of it and can address them at that meeting. But as Dan's point is a good one too, and you really do sort of sit in judgment of some of these things. And so again, I think that the general consensus is not to allow that, but there's nothing that strictly prohibits it.
So currently, we don't have any, I don't believe any language on ex parte in this particular document, but I think maybe hearing we should offer some guidance to each of us and even the public as to what's appropriate or what would be inappropriate.
And your concern is issues where the plan commission is making a final decision.
Yeah, all the hearings.
I understand. Now, does that mean though that never mind. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna look this.
Well, I think that, the reality in a small community, most of us have each other's email addresses outside the town of Clear Lake. And the vast majority of my constituents, I would say close to 100%, email me personally as opposed to my email account. Now, my email account is out there because I'm on the town council, so I can be had. But I don't know others, how much you guys get on your personal emails, how much you get personal phone calls, how much you get personal door knocks, all of which I've had. So why not drive this correspondence, this written correspondence, to our town account? And, because the feedback is occurring. It's a small community, we rub elbows, we walk, we're all out there and communicating. So it's just one step to sort of formalize the correspondence being captured on my town account as opposed to.
And George, that does bring up one other thought about that. Your town emails are official emails. Those are subject to a public records request. So if somebody wants to make a comment to you and they think that they're doing it in private by sending an email to that account, it may not be a private email, it's subject to a FOIA request.
I was gonna ask, what might be legal ramifications of having a conversation with someone via email versus having it in a personal one-on-one? Yeah.
My personal experience is I refer everybody to my town.
Yeah.
I have the luxury of having that being on council.
Dan, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. You refer people to where?
I refer everybody to my town email,
Your town email, yeah.
regardless of whatever business it is.
I think to kind of answer your question, the concern becomes like, if one of you were to go out and, Johnny down the street, knows that there's a UDO change, and we have a public hearing for it. And he expresses your concerns, but he's not coming, he doesn't give us a feedback form of his concerns. And you're the only one that was privileged to that information. You're the only one that gets to make a judgment based off of that decision.
Sure.
So rather just, and not saying that everybody wouldn't come back and say verbatim what he said. But there's the chance of that telephone game where some of the information that you pass on might be a little misconstrued from what the originator said. Which would be my concern. So there would be no issue like if the conversation would be an email, because it'd be easy for you to print off and hand out to everybody. but it'd probably be easier if, you know, if a member of the public had a concern, you go, hey, here's what you can do. There's the form on this, you can put your concerns down on this. If it's, you know, if we have a survey, a public survey or feedback form that's available, or email the zoning administrator with your concerns and ask him to present it as correspondence. And then that way you guys are all equally getting that stuff. So then that way it's not verbatim, they have it written down. You can have it sent out to your email, but you just gotta be able to turn it off and give it to everyone. So then everybody has an equal opportunity.
I think that was part of the reason for the change, and did a nice job implementing the form so that we do have feedback from a multitude of people.
Which I have them prepared and everything, and for everything that I need to do, so. It's nice just to direct them, so then you guys don't have to remember, say, hey, go to the town website, there's a feedback form available there, go up to see Robert, he can get you a feedback form. So then that way your concerns are addressed. That's my opinion and my experience in the communities that I work with. There is a little differences between, Michigan and Indiana in some cases. But at the end of the day, it's simple. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to kind of navigate all that stuff for you guys.
I think the email address, it can either be there or not there. Again, we have the advantage of a small community, and certainly we have the advantage of running into folks like on the street, at the yacht club, at the island, at the marina, in a variety of places, at the ice cream store. And I just think folks sound like they want to be able to communicate more in a better fashion with the Plan Commission. Not to influence, but to share their visions and their values of the lake of our community and what they expect out of us. And how do we do that? I was thinking email, but if we don't want to do that, there's a lot of personal emails out there floating around. And there's a lot of social aspects around the lake.
Yeah, I just offer a couple of things. I concur with most of what was discussed, that, we have an obligation, responsibility to take input from our residents. And there's a variety of ways to do that. I believe if we were in a social setting, I would probably do as Dan described, as encourage that person to send me an email via the clearlake.org email system, so that it's properly captured. I don't misconstrue what the person may be telling me. Who knows, it may be a social setting I didn't hear. Anyway, it would make it much clearer, and it would be a bit of a public record. We all know that politicians get in trouble by using the wrong email, and I wouldn't want to get caught up in that. And then, I'm still maybe a little bit open-minded on whether or not we publicize it on the website. But I do go back to maybe these the Planning Commission rules that we have, that we do offer ourselves some guidance as to how we take input or document input or share it. And maybe we do need to create a section that offers that guidance here. BZA is different, we know that, but I do think we probably ought to offer a little guidance within this document when it's appropriate.
I guess if I think about it, maybe half of the Plan Commission members have an email because you're on the town council. The other half do not. So it's not very fair or equitable. So I think if we all had the email address, it gives a level playing field. But I agree with Bill, coming up with some guidelines of what should be said, how things should be redirected. At least it's a way for a contact for you. And then it's up to us to appropriately direct the conversation, the forums, what have you, to Robert or whomever. But then that gives everybody the same, it gives equality, if you will, from a contact sheet. That's just a thought.
We all have these. I presume we all have. And have email as well.
Not that I want another email address.
All members have email,
I believe so.
commission. They're just not listed.
Correct.
So really the question is, do we put it on the
Do we publish it?
website? I mean, certainly we're free to give them out.
I think the rules of engagement is a good comment. If we want to pursue that, posting it so that we, we're consistent in the way we manage. What emails do we need to, share collectively and during hearings, et cetera?
What a can of worms.
It is, but
Is there a feeling that a private conversation, one-on-one conversation, not necessarily private, but a one-on-one conversation regarding a matter before the plan commission, it doesn't require a real estate kind of decision, that has to be shared with every member of the board?
no, I specifically cited where plan commission has the final word. So that information should be shared equally.
Jim, I think if somebody, like for me, what I would do is if somebody were to contact me and say, look, it's not really a great way to do this, let's have a conversation. And you can still have that personal conversation and get that input and then help that person direct to how they want it perceived by the plan commission and by everyone. Because a lot of times people will come up and they don't want to speak out in a public forum. And I think the whole point of this is to have people come out and speak in the public forum, so we do get people's opinions.
Or use the system.
Or use the forum, yeah. But, I mean,
Right.
yeah,
Fill out the forum, fill out the hearing.
because there's certainly things that I'm not gonna be comfortable with having an email conversation, because a lot of times your intonations and your emotions and things, they're not there. You can't read people through that. And, my idea of an email conversation is to say, hey, let's see me later and we'll have a conversation, or you need to go this route for it. That would be my thought process.
On a different topic,
Well,
I can do this title.
oh, yeah, you've got another change.
Pardon me?
I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, it would be that to death. Well, yeah. Under the rules of procedure, conduct of hearings. Statements, page 6. Article 4.4. Comments. It looks like we're giving supporting comments 5 minutes. Opposing comments 15 minutes. I suspect it's just a typo, but I would like to add that subsequent to the capital hearing that's to be counting, 3 minutes seems to be more than appropriate, for most people to get things taken care of. So, I don't know if a motion to amend the rules of procedures to reduce this.
But do you want
5 and 15 to 3 would be appropriate, but
to do 3 in each? Is that what you're suggesting? 3 minutes for each?
yeah, or each of the 2 categories. I mean, if you're supporting something that has already been presented by the applicant, you need more than 3 minutes.
Maybe you give the first person 8 minutes and then everybody else.
Why, in fact, all of the language there, it says, please don't repeat.
No, I understand.
I made, and blah, blah, blah.
I understand.
So, I mean, we can leave it at 5, it isn't a big deal, but.
No, I don't want to sit here till 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Oh, well,
I concur.
we had a hearing where we were here quite late. one night.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to consider 3 minutes, I will so move, but, you know, I don't, it isn't. a big-
So that's 3 minutes per individual.
Yes, exactly. It's after the presentations have been made, and there's an opportunity for supporting comments, and subsequently an opportunity for opposing comments.
Good point.
I thought the Steuben County thing went pretty smoothly. Is anybody else but the Capitol hearing?
I've been the previous month, but not this one.
As well, organized. It was lengthy, but it was pretty well done. So, correctly, the title, but I hope the title was.
Mike, is there any legal precedent that we need to be aware of?
I guess I'm confused. So you're talking about poor conduct of hearing, right?
Right.
Subsection A talks about the 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then it goes on to say, opposing comments shall then be heard. Speakers should try to present new points and not repeat previous speakers 15 minutes. I don't know where the 3 minutes is, I don't know where the opposing comments get more time. than
What's
the-
the 15-minute record?
The 15-minute is representing for the speaker. The speaker, it then gets again, the speaker or the presenter of the application, whatever, then gets an opportunity to rebuttal. After they've done their initial one, because then they got to hear everybody's comments. That 15 minutes addresses it to the applicant.
But the way I read
You go all the way to the bottom of that section.
the document.
A and B.
Yeah, A and B. I know, I think it needs to be separated.
Someone's wrong.
It's maybe A, B, and C, and then have opposing comments 15, because it says speakers should try to present new point, oh, wait. Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, but it's fair.
Robert, can you display it on Zoom? I'm not, what you're showing. There you go. Thank you.
The verbiage, I agree, it should definitely be consistent with one, I don't think. Position or support should get more time than the other.
The individual rebuttals.
That was.
Yeah.
That's Jim's point.
And isn't it what Robert's rules of order says somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes? So.
Right.
So the applicant
think
gets
we're-
15 minutes. So the applicant gets 15 minutes to present their case.
Yeah, that's stated earlier. in this section.
Yeah, that's
And then everyone that's going to rebut gets 5 minutes.
in support or opposition.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there any disagreement that they shouldn't be the same number? A and B.
I would agree they should both be 5. Or less. Not more than 5.
Yeah, I would support A and B being equal, whatever that number is. 15 is probably
Too long.
a little bit too long.
Okay,
Make them both 5?
I'm good with 5.
I'd be okay with 5.
Okay.
Well, and if it's a big meeting, you probably can do
You can adjust it.
adjust it to 3 minutes. I mean, I think you have to at least give 3 minutes, but.
Give us the flexibility, we need to say a maximum of 5 minutes. That way we can. Like commission can adjust it downward, or do we have that flexibility as it's written?
I think so. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue is always. The open door law and the right to be heard, and so. The more you curtail it, the more. Chance you have of drawing yourself into some. you know, litigation, which is I had stuff I want to say, but they wouldn't let me talk. Okay. And so I feel like, you know, in 5 minutes you should be able to say whatever you need to say. I don't think anybody would find that unreasonable. Okay.
Good catch. Okay, so make that change and then, sounds like we need to address not sure what to call it. The relationship with our constituents. Email responses.
Well,
Well, it goes beyond email. I think it just communication with our constituents, just the guidance that we're going to offer one another here.
Sure. And delineate a procedure for having that taking place. I mean, there is obviously one available now through the zoning ministry. But I think we need this discussion.
Yes.
so I view that as a separate change to everything, all the work that has been done on this document. And I would propose a motion that we accept the changes as proposed with the addition of modifying the time in 4:4 from 4:4B to 5 minutes to be consistent with 4:4A. Yeah.
That's a motion.
That's a motion.
So let me just confirm, was it our intent to approve this document tonight, or was it just to introduce the document and approve it at the subsequent meeting? I thought there was some discussion about the subsequent meeting.
Well, so my comment to that, Bill, is that we had our discussion on all these changes, which are mostly clerical in nature. And but it's your call. But we have a motion and a second on the floor. So we have to see that to its conclusion.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the document as written with those changes, I believe, in that's that section 4.4 dot 7AB.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion and a second for those points? So all those in favor signify with an A.
Aye.
Aye. And all those opposed?
Oh, you. Yes.
So I think from when I don't have perfect audio. I believe the motion passes.
Yes.
Help me with that if I missed that we didn't get the majority.
You had majority.
All right.
And then we'll take the additional subject and we'll work that.
Yes.
Sounds like. Yeah, agreed.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, any other discussion on this point? If not, I think we can return to the agenda.
Oh, there we go. Oops, there you go. So this is.
Okay, so that's any other new business? If not, then we open the floor up for discussion. Any other discussion points from the board or the floor? Hearing none?
Yeah, hold on, Bill, it's Molly.
Okay.
And first of all, I just want to say thank you for adding the approval of the meeting agenda. I know that's something that Mike has been working with us on, so kudos to getting that added on the agenda. And then if I could add, just one comment, Jim McLean, to your comment about, and I don't remember how you phrased it, the haves and have-nots, the befores or afters. I just want to share, personally, I reside, I don't know if you, between two places that do have homes across the road. And much of South Shore, as George and Don can attest, that was all residential before the UDO. And so once that was changed, you lost that if you didn't have it. That's just the way it is. And you know what? You move forward. And so that's where, there could be a lot of people on South Shore upset that they don't have houses across the road, but that's what we wanted in the comprehensive plan. That's what we wanted in the UDO. So I just wanted to share that it may be a perception. There might be one, there might be another. And I'm speaking as somebody that has a home on both sides of me across the road. So you just have to embrace what is here, and that's what you guys are all doing. So thank you very much. I also, great job on the rules of procedure. I liked how you incorporated the website into the components, and also opened up the flexibility that if we change prices on things, that it's a general statement in there. So nicely done, everybody.
Thank you for the comments, Molly. Any other comments on the floor? Okay, with that then, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, done.
Second.
In a second, we have a motion to adjourn in with a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Dan, good
All right,
job.
thanks all.
Next year,
Good job.
ready for leadership?
You're welcome.
Nothing's going away.
No.
You just don't have to be the lead.